Building your first affordable multifamily development is a rewarding process that can be broken down into clear, defined steps. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Hey guys, I'm Evan Holiday. I've developed over 2,300 units of affordable and mixed income housing, totaling over $500 million in development, and I've coached dozens of others in doing their own deals. In today's video, we are covering closing your deal, how you get paid, construction, lease up, and celebrating in style. This is the final video in our 3-part series of how to do your first affordable housing development. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2, check out the videos in the links below. And by the way, I put a ton of time and effort into researching and preparing for this video, and it would seriously mean the world to me if you hit the subscribe button and like this video. It's completely free and helps out a ton. Thanks. Step 1, at this point you have your financing, your tax credits, your grants, your site location, your permits, your design team. Everything is lined up. Congratulations, you are in the 60 to 90 days before closing. It's the home stretch. It's kind of like finals week, but way more lawyers and similar levels of caffeine. To get ready for closing, you need clear title. Work with your attorney or your title company to make sure you have clear title on your land. This protects you from ownership disputes that could stop the entire project. Having a clear title means the seller legally owns the land and there's no liens, no disputes, or no claims on that land. This is essential for protecting your investment and avoiding any legal issues. Always do title search and get title insurance before buying. Draft 8609 documents. 8609 sounds really intimidating, but it's really just the documents that unlock your tax credits. These tax documents officially allow you to claim the low-income housing tax credits and allow your investors to claim the credits. You'll get these documents from the staff or the attorney for the state housing agency that allocates you the credits. Make sure these are ready a few weeks before closing, so work closely with your tax credit counsel and the state housing agency. And then there are your final documents. Finalize and notarize all required documents to close. These are your loan docs, your equity docs, your grant docs, your bond docs, your HUD docs, and your land sale docs, and there's plenty more, but that just gives you a brief snippet of the list. Start early and don't wait for the week of closing to find a notary. Ask your attorney or title company if they have a notary, or you can always hire a mobile notary to come to your office. In many states, you can even notarize documents online, but check with your attorneys to make sure that's allowed. Some legal documents will not allow that. And pro tip, you can get your signature pages signed and notarized prior to having the entire document completed. You just have those documents, the signature pages, held in escrow by your attorney, meaning they will hold the document until the day of closing and everybody blesses the documents. Then they will slip in the signature page. Also, we have a free closing documents checklist in the links below. Now you're on to step 2. Closing day and notice to proceed. On closing day, you will have one final call with the entire legal and financing teams. Everyone's attorneys have to give their final blessing before you're allowed to actually close the deal. It is more like a final, very last check of all documents and make sure we're not missing any documents or any signatures. But it is a very exciting call for you. Once everyone approves on the call, the deal is officially closed and funded. Now you can access your first construction draw. This is the first installment of loan funds that will help go to pay your contractor and their subcontractors. The next step is your notice to proceed, or NTP. This is like giving the green light for your general contractor to start construction. It might come from you, the GC, or the state housing agency. It all depends on your state. Confirm with your tax credit counsel who is supposed to issue the NTP in your state, and get that document prepared 30 days prior to closing, so that way as soon as you close, you can issue that document and release your GC. Step 3, this is an exciting one. Collecting your developer fee and getting paid. Up to this point, you will not have gotten paid or gotten any revenue from this project. But once the deal closes, you will start to be able to collect your developer fee and get reimbursement for all of your pre-development expenses. Developer fee, you earn this for getting the deal over the finish line. Your developer fee is your main source of income as a developer for affordable housing. It's often 10 to 15% of your total project costs and are paid out in milestones by your equity investor. These milestones will allow you to collect some payment at closing, at 100% construction completion, and then at stabilization. And then there's your reimbursements. So you and your investment partners will be reimbursed for all of your pre-development expenses that you will have spent to get to closing. You will get paid that back at closing from your debt or your equity or your grant funds or some combination of those 3. This comes later on once your property is fully built and fully rented, and will be able to be collected by you and your partners on an annual basis after paying all project expenses. Collecting your first developer fee installment is a major milestone, but you're only just getting started. On to step 4. Now it's time to start building. Construction is mostly the general contractor's responsibility, but you still need to stay involved. First, you want to hire or assign somebody on your team to be your owner's rep. An owner's rep is like your eyes and ears during the life cycle of construction, and they will attend the monthly or bi-weekly OAC or owner architect contractor meetings. This ensures that 1, construction timelines stay on track, 2, costs are kept in check, and 3, what is built on site matches your designs. Unknowns will always arise during construction, so having your rep there ensure that your interests are protected. Step 5 is to plan a groundbreaking ceremony. You'll want to do this a few months after closing and after construction is started. It's an important symbolic moment to celebrate with public and private partners, build goodwill with political leaders, and set yourself and your team up for future deals. Invite council members, community leaders, government partners, nonprofits, your design team, state reps, and even the mayor or governor. Make it emotional and memorable. It's important that everyone takes some ownership and pride in this project. Bring out the shovels, the smiles, and maybe even a few cupcakes. Hard hats are optional, but highly encouraged for photo ops. We just recently held a groundbreaking where the council member was so overjoyed and proud of the final project that she immediately, on the spot, introduced us to a landowner who owned land in a QCT that's zoned for multifamily, where she wants her next affordable community in her district. We have also invited potential nonprofit development partners who have seen the final product of what we've been able to do, and we're able to build trust by showing them what we can do rather than just telling them about it. I recommend hiring a PR firm to plan and run the groundbreaking. You can cover their costs in the project's budget. They will know how to secure great press coverage for the development, showcase community support, and ensure that your message is well delivered. Look for PR firms that are experienced in your market and planning good groundbreaking events. Planning these events require a good balance of media relations and government expertise. It's more than event planning, so make sure you find a firm that can do both. PR firm should handle everything from event planning, logistics, invitations, strategizing on who should speak at the event, drafting talking points for the speakers and you, and sharing news of the event and the development with the press. Step 6. During construction, you'll want to have your owner's rep closely monitor the percentage of completion on the project, or basically how much of the building is getting built each month. And how does the building schedule and budget match what we put in our pro forma on the front end? Coordinate with your architect and your owner's rep to do at least once a month walkthroughs on the site to ensure that everything is met per the plans. This will help you to catch any mistakes before they become too costly or irreversible, and track monthly the schedule and the amount of funds drawn against your slowly depleting construction funds. Most tax credit equity investors release their funding in stages, just like with your development fee milestones. So they will do 25% at closing, 25% at 50% construction completion, and maybe 25% at 100% construction completion. Stay on top of these equity installments to make sure there are no delays in funding. Preparing funding draw requests in advance is critical to keeping the project on schedule, avoiding cash flow delays, and maintaining compliance with lender and investor requirements. Each draw typically requires a contractor pay app or AIA document G702, G703, lien waivers, invoices, progress reports, updated budget and schedule, and any compliance documentation, like Davis-Bacon or MWBE documents. Missing or incomplete documentation can stall your funding, so preparing 1 to 2 weeks in advance with your GC and your lender is essential to avoiding any cash flow delays. Download our free construction draw checklist in the link below. Moving on to step 7, finding a property manager. You will want to find a good property management company really early on in the process when you're doing your market intel, because they have the best sense of what's going on in the market better than anybody else for rents, demands, and market intel. A great property management company can make or break your project, especially in affordable housing. A good PM should help shape your lease-up strategy months in advance. So make sure to sign up your PM before you close, then fully engage them about 6 to 9 months before you're ready to lease your first unit. Managing affordable housing is not the same as market rate. You want to look for a company that has experience with Section 8, LIHTC compliance, income certification, and annual recertifications. Don't worry, the right property management company will know what all of this means. Staff who understand and have worked with the local housing authority before, and a strong compliance officer or compliance team. In affordable housing, compliance isn't optional, it is mission critical. A compliance team protects your funding, keeps you in good standing with state agencies, and ensures that every resident meets the project's income and eligibility requirements. Without this, you could lose your tax credits. You could also face major penalties or even jeopardize the entire deal. Also, ask for referrals. Ask your state housing agency or any local partners that are already in affordable housing who are the best PMs in the area. Evaluate for size and style of your property. So a 48-unit supportive housing deal is going to take a lot different management style than a 300-unit mixed-use, mixed-income deal. Ask, what is the average property size that you manage? And do you offer on-site staffing or centralized management? Check for their systems and the resident experience. Do they use online rent payment and maintenance requests? What is their resident communication plan? And how do they track performance like occupancy, collection, and work orders? And if you care about resident empowerment, ask if they've worked with resident service providers or run programs themselves on site. Not every PM does this, but usually the groups that do really do care not just about running a great property, but truly impacting the lives of the residents. And that can help separate the great PMs from the good ones. And next, visit other properties they manage. Do a site visit yourself. See how safe, how clean, and how well run the property is. A good manager should have low turnover, responsive staff, and a clean property. And review the management agreement carefully. Have your attorney review the contract. Watch for hidden fees, termination clauses, who controls hiring staff, and how budgets are approved. Typical management fees can range from 3 to 7% of effective gross income, depending on the deal size. The more units, the lower the percentage. Moving to step 8, unit turnover and lease up. As buildings are completed, conduct final walkthroughs with your GC, your architect, your owner's rep, and your property management company. Let your property manager blue tape the units. This is the process where they go through each and every unit and test every little facet of the unit and look for any little mistake or thing that still needs to be fixed by the contractor. And they mark it with a little piece of blue tape. We also keep digital records of all of this as well. This will ensure that the units in the property are ready to be leased. This is like a treasure hunt, but instead of gold, you're finding paint drips and wobbly doorknobs. Focus on your pre-leasing 5 to 6 months before your first unit delivery. Pre-leasing lines up residents so they are ready to move in as soon as units are turned over, ensuring that there is no delay in your lease-up process. To do this, you'll work with your property manager and start marketing online and on social media, and a good property manager will know how to effectively market the units, so lean on them heavily. And build brand recognition by putting physical signs on the property talking about your pre-leasing. And for larger properties over 100 units, hire your on-site team early. Typically, that will include your property manager, your leasing manager, and your maintenance manager. Step 9, leasing and tax credit activation. As buildings receive their certificates of occupancy or COs, make sure your property manager is leasing them up building by building or even floor by floor and not scattered all over the place. Why? Because your investor can't claim tax credits unless an entire building or an entire floor is fully leased. So your revenue and their tax credit return depends on a fast, complete building by building lease up. That's why timing is everything. In step 10, it is time to celebrate. Before the last units are delivered, host a grand opening ceremony, a ribbon cutting with the same partners you had at the groundbreaking. This provides great PR, lease-up momentum, political goodwill, and public awareness of the community you have created. Just like the groundbreaking, I recommend hiring a good PR firm to help plan and execute on this event. That way you and your team can focus on connecting with the guests rather than worrying about planning or running the event. And plan the grand opening event a few months before you're complete so you can help drum up some more attention to lease up the last of the units. Finally, our last step 11 is stabilization. Once all construction is complete and the units are leased up, you enter the stabilization phase. Stabilization means your property is performing consistently, and this is usually defined by being 90% occupied for 90 days and all of your expenses and your revenues are matching or close to your pro formas. And for these 90 days, you will be working very closely with your PM to ensure that you keep expenses low and occupancy high. And the transition to stabilization, which usually happens about 24 to 36 months after you close, is key too. Your investor's final equity installment, which is usually their largest, comes at stabilization. You also likely receive the biggest portion of your developer fee. And this is where your construction loan converts to a non-recourse permanent loan. Construction loans are usually recourse, which means your personal assets back the loan. Getting to stabilization moves you to non-recourse, meaning the lender can no longer come after your personal assets. Only the property itself backs the loan at that point. To prepare for this, 6 months ahead of when you think you'll hit stabilization, ask for stabilization checklists from your debt partner, your equity partner, and the state housing agency. It will be similar to your original construction loan closing in that you will have multiple due diligence checklists from each of your partners, and you'll have weekly calls to make sure you're moving towards closing. But in general, it should be substantially less work than the original closing. At this point, you've closed, you've built, you've leased up, and you've stabilized your property. You've collected your fee, and you've paid back the money either you or your partners invested early on, like legal fees, consultants, and designers. And you've created a thriving, affordable community that will create impact for many families to come. Congratulations, that is a huge accomplishment. Now you are ready for the next deal. Remember, good developers always have multiple deals in the pipeline. Some won't work out, but others will pay off and create massive impact. Thanks for watching part 3 of this series on how to build your first affordable housing development. Check the description below for our free development checklist, which covers this entire process in one downloadable document. If this helped you, please like the video or share it with a friend who's also trying to get into affordable housing development. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to learn everything there is to know about affordable housing development. And if you are interested in diving deeper and joining others just like you who want to do your first affordable housing development and want to know everything there is of how we put our deals together and get hands-on coaching from me and my team, then look for the link below for our Affordable Development Mastery program. We've coached dozens of others just like you who want to make massive impact and create a legacy. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day.